Hey guys, I'm going to make a quick video about a form of making currency in every league in Path of Exile. This works regardless of what type of league mechanic is in place, and it shouldn't be affected by this. The method we're talking about today is linking items. Now, I know linking items is a bit of an understatement, an extremely RNG favored affair, but there are ways that you can make a guaranteed profit from this. So let's talk a little bit about fusings and how they actually work in PoE before we jump into the money making part. So fusing gives you a chance to link sockets in an item. Most people want to aim for a 6 link in 6 sockets. One of the things that affects the chance of an item linking is the quality on the item. For example, we have the stats here that on average, if you attempt to 6-link an item with 20% quality, it is an average of 1,000 fusings. Without quality, around 1,200. The average is that number. It can vary greatly, obviously, but that's a pretty good percentile to aim for, around 1,000. Now, why is 1,000 fusings important? Well, you'll quickly notice that. Let's go into the current Blight League. We'll see that Exile prices are currently 170C, fairly high for what it is at the moment. But what we're more interested in is the orb fusing rate. So we can see it's 1 chaos for 2 orbs of fusing. Now, if we extrapolate that to exalted orbs, 1x can buy us 340 fusing orbs. Okay, keep in mind that the figure from before 1,000 is the target average we should be aiming for to link an item. So let's go down to some unique weapons and let's click on some 6 links. Now, we obviously got some usual suspects with Darkscorn, extremely rare drop from Legion, Void Forge, Starforge, both from endgame drops. But then we have items like Pledge of Hands, Arborix, Martyr of Innocence, getting a little bit more common in the drops. Now, if you look at the prices here, we see 5x, 4x, ranging all the way down to about 3x. Now, these prices are obviously falling a bit lower, and I'll tell you why. It's a direct correlation with the price of fusings. Now, let's say we want a Martyr of Innocence, okay? 4.1x for a 6-link one. If you look at it unlinked, let's have a look down here, 10C. So 10C compared to 4.1x is quite a big jump. So let's just say 4x for convenience sake is the cost of what people will pay for 6-link version. Now, if you did 4x of fusings, 4x would be equivalent to 340 times 4. So 1,360 fusings. Now that's more than the average than it should take to link a 6-link. So people are overpaying for the premium of a guarantee. In case they get unlucky with their rolls, they might roll 2,000 fusings and never get the 6-link. So people are always willing to pay a little premium for a guarantee. Now, at this point in the league, a lot of people have been selling 6-links, undercutting 6-link linking items. So it's not as good now, but still profitable. Let's look at another item. Let's say Starforge, 128.8C. Let's look at the 6-link equivalent of it, 5x. All right. So we can say the difference is a little bit more than 4x, but we'll say 4x for the example again. So 4x, like before, gets you 1,360 fusings. So 360 fusings on top of the average amount it should take. Now, obviously, in a small sample size, you could get severely unlucky, affected by RNG. But if you took this across a larger sample size, statistically, you should be able to link it within much less than the cost of what it is to buy it 6-linked. Therein lies the profit that you can get from linking items. If it only takes 1,000 on average to link it, but you can buy 1,360 with 4x, you have a difference of 360 fusings that are being, I guess, the premium price for 6-link. So what does this mean for us? It means that for fusings, in order for it to be profitable, it has to be cheaper than buying it 6-linked already. So if a 6-link were like 3x and X's were like only 150C and you only get 900 fusings, that's less than the average and more unlikely to link. So obviously not as worth it. You want to be around at least 100 or 200 fusings above the average in terms of price in order to make a significant difference. I've used this method since Delve League, where I linked about, I think, maybe 100 items. That's where I got my Headhunter. Never had to farm burial chambers, never had to do the traditional map farming. And I also did this in Betrayal. Obviously, it's not a... I wouldn't say it's a fun way of playing the game, but it is a way to make money quickly. For instance, this league in Blight, I finished my whole entire Atlas and killed Uelder, I think, twice now, and I've not seen a single X drop. But I have seen some other high tier item drops, but in comparison to my guildmates, they've gotten 4, 5, 6. But funny thing is, I'm the richest out of all of them at the moment because I used this method early on to make money. So with this method, obviously you can get unlucky, and when you get unlucky, you can get very unlucky. So like, instead of like being done in 1,500 fusing, 1,700 fusing, it could take you 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 fusings. So obviously it's a very big gamble, and you should do this at your own risk, because there's a high chance, not a high chance, but there is a chance that if you attempt to do this with a low amount of fusings, low amount of currency, you could burn it all and have nothing to show for it. This league, I myself, I think all the drops, everything I had to this point, I converted it into about 3x of pure currency, and which I transferred directly into fusings, and I attempted to link some items. I got very lucky on my 1,000 fusings because I managed to link not only 1 but 2 items. I linked a Kintsugi, which I was using at a chest at the time. I also linked a Arborix, also a pretty meta bow at the time in the league. I was able to sell both of those to make about 10x from the initial 3x I started with, and then from there I just bought more fusings, started linking, and then I'm like up to like probably made 50-60x now at this point. There isn't really much else to say about this method. A lot of people know it, a lot of people have tried it. It's a gamble for sure, but the math does check out statistically. If you run a large enough sample size, you should make a profit from this just based on the law of averages. Hopefully this video has given you some ideas into future leagues where you do want to make money. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to just drop a like, subscribe, and hope to see you in the next one.